Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have made such a splash in their rookie seasons that the league's future looks super promising. Since they came onto the scene in April, the evolution of the sport has been hard to miss, and the timing was just right. They brought a unique flair and enthusiasm that really resonated with college basketball fans, and that vibe has carried over into the pros, lifting the profile of everyone in the league. The rivalry between Clark and Reese has sparked discussions among fans that remind many of the legendary debates about Larry Bird and Magic Johnson back in the 80s. Their dynamic personalities have placed them at the center of conversations about everything from fouls to important cultural issues like race and sexuality. It's clear that their presence has opened up new opportunities for endorsements and fan engagement, especially with kids who are showing up in their jerseys long before the games start. Whether it's Clark being featured in a corn maze in Indiana, or Reese on a huge billboard in Chicago, or the emotional scenes when Wilson broke the scoring record, it feels like everyone has a memorable moment to share. The moment when Angel Reese taunted Caitlin Clark is often seen as the spark that ignited Caitlin's rise to fame. Don't get me wrong, that moment could very well be one of the most pivotal in women's basketball history. It was a huge deal and has led to countless discussions since then. That image of Angel and Caitlin will be remembered forever. Everyone knows where they were when they witnessed it. After that game, the sport gained a ton of popularity, drawing in 9.9 million viewers, and the following year, the South Carolina versus Iowa game nearly hit 19 million. So there was definitely a big surge in interest. It's all about the numbers surrounding Caitlin Clark before she hit that big moment. For instance, during her freshman year, the Big Ten Network saw a 30% increase in viewers for her games compared to others, which is pretty impressive. Then in her sophomore year, that number shot up to a staggering 98% more viewers than other women's games. This shows the Caitlin Clark effect was already in play before she became a national sensation, especially at the lower levels. It really took off and turned into a huge phenomenon, which carried over into the WNBA. The WNBA draft had 300% more viewers than the previous year, and we witnessed all the records that Clark, the Indiana Fever, and the WNBA broke this year. It's safe to note that Clark was a star long before Reese got into the picture. I've seen a lot of unmannered instances in the media in the NBA in the past. Take Bradley Beal, for example. He was left off the 2020 All-Star team despite dropping 30 points a game. Then there's James Harden, who didn't make the All-NBA team in 2016 even after averaging 29 points and playing all 82 games. Just when I thought it couldn't get any more alarming, ESPN dropped a tweet on August 29th about the WNBA playoffs, asking which rookies are in the running for Rookie of the Year. The fact that they even posted that question is already pretty disrespectful. But then they went ahead and ranked Angel Reese ahead of Caitlin Clark on the Rookie of the Year ladder. If you're wondering why that's such a big deal, let me explain. On the same day, Caitlin Clark completely outplayed her rival Angel Reese in their final matchup. The Fever were leading the series 2-1 going into that game, and it was a packed house at their arena. Angel Reese has been gunning for Caitlin Clark for a while now. Remember when she did that iconic "you can't see me" gesture during the 2023 NCAA championship? Then in the WNBA, she made headlines again by smacking Caitlin on the head and celebrating while her teammate pushed her down. At the All-Star Weekend practice, she somehow hit a three-pointer right after Caitlin missed hers, celebrating with everyone except Clark. Reese's subtle bullying and passive-aggressive vibes are hard to miss. It's clear she has an issue with Caitlin. But when the cameras are rolling, she plays it cool, claiming there's no hate between them, just a competitive spirit. She wants everyone to know that she and Caitlin are just rivals, nothing more. Fast forward to Friday, August 30th, under the blazing Chicago sun, and the stage was set for another epic showdown. This wasn't just any game. All season long, fans have been comparing them for the Rookie of the Year title, which was definitely on the line. This was also their last rookie matchup, with Angel leading 4-1 in college, but Caitlin ahead 2-1 in the WNBA. This game was Caitlin's chance to take a solid 3-1 lead, while Angel aimed to even things up. Even before the game kicked off, Angel was brimming with confidence, dressing up as Dennis Rodman and striking poses like a pro before the first whistle. Caitlin Clark was all about business as she stepped into the Wintrust Arena right from the tip-off. Her focus was evident. Caitlin came out swinging, showing she was ready to elevate her game. She nailed her first deep three-pointer, making it clear she meant business. But despite her efforts, the Sky's supporting players were on fire, dropping three-pointers left and right. At one point, the score was 21-9, and it looked like the Sky might run away with it against the Fever. I can only suspect what was going through Angel Reese's mind at that moment. Unfortunately for Angel, Caitlin was laser focused that day. As for the Sky's hot shooting, their luck started to fade. The Fever began to rally, with Caitlin guiding the way, and suddenly that 21-9 lead disappeared. By the time the first quarter buzzer went off, it was a nail-biter at 26-23. Caitlin was well aware of the tight score, so she kicked off the second quarter by sinking a deep three, tightening the gap. The Fever shared the ball well on that play, and Caitlin's logo shot was something to see. Angel tried to answer back, but ended up with a travel instead. Caitlin Clark was on fire, pulling off fantastic plays and even having fun with the crowd, playfully checking if her shots were going in. Meanwhile, Angel Reese was struggling so much that it highlighted why I previously called out that ESPN tweet about the best rookie as totally disrespectful. If you think I'm magnifying, just wait to see how the rest of the game unfolds, because things only get better for Caitlin and worse for Angel. As the third quarter kicked off, the Sky were frantic to contain Clark, even going so far as to deny her a safe landing after a jump. On the flip side, Angel was being guarded at the three-point line like she was Antetokounmpo, but unfortunately, she didn't have his other skills. The Fever took the benefits of her struggles around the rim, and when she tried to make a move, it didn't go well. You could see Angel lower her head in frustration. As I noted, the night was all about Caitlin's brilliance and Angel's disappointing performance, especially after Angel had dressed up as Rodman and posed for photos on Barbie Day at the Chicago Sky's home. By the end of the third quarter, Caitlin had pulled up 23 points and 9 assists, while Reese only collected 5 points and 7 rebounds. The score was 78-64, with the Indiana Fever holding strong as one of the top teams in the WNBA since mid-June. Then came the last quarter, where Caitlin continued to shine like a superhero, while Angel and the Chicago Sky seemed to be taking their loss pretty hard. Caitlin was dazzling on the court again. Whether it was her shooting or playmaking, she was doing it all. Caitlin casually tossed up some shots, and the Sky was filled with frustration. This led to some cheap shots being taken. Take this play for instance. When Diamond to Shields bumped into Clark, it first looked like a misfortune, like she was genuinely trying to help her up. But from another angle, it was clear that wasn't the case. She was just arguing with the ref, insisting it wasn't a foul. After that incident, a sensational statistic showed that 77% of all flagrant fouls in the WNBA were against Caitlin Clark, with Angel Reese's team, the Chicago Sky, responsible for 80% of them. See what I mean about Angel having it out for Clark? Anyway, shortly after that incident, Caitlin wrapped up the game with 31 points and 12 assists, waved to the crowd, and left the court. That's when things took a hilariously awkward turn for the spectators, but became super embarrassing for Angel. After all the trash talk Caitlin Clark faced during the NCAA tournament, including that headshot and the way her teammate cheered after nearly taking her out, Caitlin found a classy way to get back at Angel Reese. Rather than trash talking or being disrespectful, she let her game do the talking. Caitlin overpowered Angel on her own court while getting the crowd involved. This was the day Caitlin Clark completely embarrassed Angel Reese. To be honest, Caitlin's been making everyone look bad, not just Angel. She's even put the entire USA Women's Olympic team to shame since they overlooked her. Caitlin Clark deserves more respect from the league and other WNBA players. That's becoming more and more obvious to any basketball fan.